Can you see me? It's good to see you. Now this cord that you see, I hope it works, but it may not. And there's a microphone that I have right here to maybe make my voice a little bit louder. Santa normally speaks very quietly, and so I'll try to speak a little bit louder, maybe so you can hear me better when you enjoy this visit together. It's just after 10 o'clock, Saturday morning, here at the North Pole. I think it's November 21st. Season 2, episode 3 already. Welcome to Santa's studio. How are you today? Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad you made it through the week. I think Santa is all rested. A few weeks ago, Santa, as you know, traveled around the world, checking on people if they are on the nice list or the naughty list. And he's back now with all of the elves. It's been a very, very busy week here at the North Pole. Remember, you can watch this live broadcast on Facebook at I Believe in Santa, ho ho ho. Or later on today, I think I'm going to have one of my elves put this broadcast on Santa's YouTube channel. It's on YouTube at Santa Jeff Claus, JEFFCLAUS. No E at the end of that. Santa Jeff Claus. Well, we're back and rested. You can go on to Santa's YouTube channel and on his Facebook page and give him a thumbs up or a like, or you can subscribe. I think there might be a place there where you can subscribe so you're notified of when Santa is broadcasting or when there's a new video coming. In fact, Santa made a new video just a few days ago. You probably weren't notified of it if you hadn't subscribed. But the new video was about just the storybooks that Santa will be reading in the next few weeks and perhaps next season as well. Christmas storybooks. I try to read one every week. It's been a very busy week here at the North Pole. The elves are busy in the workshop. I'm not sure Mrs. Claus was happy to see me come back from my long trip. She likes having her own private time. She always supervises the elves very well. Father Time, Santa's dad, Father Time was sick, and so Santa spent a lot of time taking care of Father Time. Yes, but he's doing well now. He's getting all better. Santa's sleigh. We have two here at the North Pole. Santa's sleigh stopped working, and so that has been in the shop. We're also going to answer a couple of your questions today. Some of you said, well, Santa, don't you get cold up in the sleigh when you're flying around in the dark of Christmas Eve? And indeed, Santa has a special button that he pushes on the sleigh. And a big roof comes over the sleigh, and there's a heater in there. And so we stay nice and toasty and warm as we travel around the world. Now the reindeer, they don't have a roof to cover them because they have all that fur, don't they? But Santa stays nice and warm because I have a nice roof that's made out of special glass, so I can still see as we navigate around the world. So the sleigh was in the shop getting the power roof fixed, and the motor needed some work as well. Another question that you sent in: do you eat anything special before you go on your around the world trip? And that's a very good question. No one's ever asked that before. Mrs. Claus fixes Santa a big bowl of oatmeal. I don't know if you know what oatmeal is. Most cultures around the world have something similar. It's kind of like a hot cereal. And she puts raisins in it and is very filling. When it goes into Santa's tummy, it stays right there and fills him up the entire night. And so that's what Mrs. Claus does for Santa. I eat a big bowl of oatmeal. I think she also knows that as I go and deliver presents around the world, children leave cookies for Santa. And I think she knows, because I have a big belly, that Santa loves eating your cookies that you leave for him. Yes, indeed. Of course, everyone asks what my favorite cookie is. And you know the answer by now. Many children leave chocolate chip, but any cookie that you leave for Santa is my favorite cookie at your home. With all the cookies I eat and that oatmeal and the milk that you leave for Santa, I don't go hungry at all on my journey around the world on Christmas Eve. Not at all. The reindeer really appreciate the food gifts that you leave for them as well. Carrots and apples that you mainly leave for the reindeer. They really, really enjoy munching on that. Today we have birthdays. Children wrote in, and an adult wrote in as well. Marcus is 6. Happy birthday, Marcus. Maria, she's 8 years old. That's about 3rd grade. And Hester wrote in and is 92. Happy birthday to you, Hester. Today's Santa tale happened when I was journeying around the world this last few months, checking on the nice and the naughty. And I came across 2 children and their mother. Their mother was named Lupe, and she ran a flower stall with her husband. A flower stall is a place where you can go and buy flowers in the neighborhood. And the 2 children were there, Hector and Maria. Now, you know that Santa, on every broadcast, seems to really appreciate the people and the boys and girls like Anja and Annika last week, who like to take care of other people, who are kind and sweet and helpful. Hector and Maria, in this flower stall, as they were trying to sell flowers for their mom and their dad, they were working very hard, preparing the flowers, cleaning the flowers, taking off any dead little petals. But Hector came up to Santa separately from Maria. And I could tell when he mentioned what he wanted, I could tell Hector was a special helper to Santa. He came up and whispered in my ear. He didn't want his sister or parents to hear. And he said, "Santa, I don't need anything for myself. All I want is a doll for my sister." Wasn't that sweet? He was selfless, not selfish. He wanted a doll for his sister. How sweet to take care of his little sister that way. His sister came up to Santa after Hector had left. And she said, "Santa, I don't need anything for myself, but my brother, he works very, very hard for my parents. He delivers flowers all over. And he needs a new pair of shoes. Do you think maybe you could get him a new pair of work shoes?" She didn't want to embarrass her brother by having him come over, and she would reveal his secret, that he had holes in the bottoms of his shoes. And so there we have two children working very hard, going to school, doing their best, being kind to each other, each of them asking for something for the other. What wonderful, wonderful children. Hector and Maria. Santa runs into these people all the time on his journeys around the world. And that's Santa's tale for today. Just wonderful. It makes Santa very happy when he has helpers around the world, doing things for other people, taking care of others. And that is what our story is today. Today's story is called Santa's Helpers. It's written by Lori Frobe, and of course it involves children. The weather had turned cold and Christmas was in the air. Eddie and his friends knew what that meant. Santa was coming. They excitedly got out their crayons and their paper, and they drew Christmas pictures while talking about the things on their wish lists. "I'm going to ask Santa for a toy truck," said Eddie. "I'm going to ask him for a new dolly," answered Sarah Lynn. "What about you, Michael?" "I'd like a new sled," he said, his eyes sparkling. "Tomorrow when we see Santa, we can tell him all of these things," Maggie said. "I can't wait." And so the next day, they go to visit Santa. Can you see that? They went to visit Santa. They took turns telling him what they hoped he would bring on Christmas morning. "Santa," said Eddie, "you have so many gifts to deliver. How do you do it?" "I do have a lot to do, Eddie," said Santa, laughing, "and I couldn't do it without help from all of my elves. But even kids like you and your friends can make Christmas special for other people." "Each of us is different. How can we do that, Santa?" "Well, I wish I could be one of Santa's helpers," said Eddie. "I think it would be fun to be one of his elves. But what could we do to be helpful?" Eddie thought a moment. "Hey, we could do nice things for other people." And all of the children began to think about what they could do for other people. Does that sound familiar? Anja and Annika, Hector and Maria. "I could do nice things, maybe for the birds outside when it gets cold," said Sarah Lynn. "I wish I could make something with my paints," said Michael out loud. "Farmer Jed, I notice his gloves have holes in them. Maybe, Maggie, you can get new gloves for him. Maybe knit them yourself." And so they began on their journey of helping other people. Michael and his friends first painted Christmas pictures of gifts on the window in downtown. They came along and they all helped together to make that a pretty picture window. And look, here's Sarah Lynn. What is she doing? She's knitting gloves for Farmer Jed. That's what she's doing. Mother helped her. They picked out yarn too together. Then they went to deliver them on Christmas Eve to Farmer Jed. He was very, very happy, and they sang Christmas carols together. Then they went and decorated a Christmas tree. They had made popcorn garland with berries on it. They took some pine cones and covered them in honey and seeds, and they said, "These are for you, birdies, so you won't go hungry during winter time. I'm sure you will enjoy it." And the birds chirped a pleasant thank you. The neighbor lady, Mrs. Brown, was getting old in years and couldn't do much by herself except some of the things in the house. And so when the snow hit, the children went and shoveled her walkway. What a nice gift. Mrs. Brown rewarded them with cocoa and cookies. They were delicious. She made them cookies, Mrs. Brown did, that looked just like the children. Special Christmas cookies. Then they went to their teacher and gave the teacher special drawings that they'd made just for the teacher, with notes telling the teacher how much they appreciated her. Teachers liked getting notes from their students. Soon it was Christmas Eve, and Eddie's family decorated their tree and hung their stockings up in front of the fireplace or another special place. It's time for bed. Santa will soon be here. Let's get you both tucked in. It's going to be a fun day tomorrow. Do you see them hanging their stockings? What do you get in your stocking? Write to Santa and let him know. You can go on to any of my videos on my YouTube channel and send Santa a note. Is there something that you get in your stocking each year? You get an apple or an orange, or do you get nuts, or do you get a little toy, or what do you get in your stocking? Also, I'd like you to write to Santa and let him know if you have any special traditions. Because next week, we're going to read a story called Too Many Tamales. And in that Hispanic culture, there's a tradition that the family makes homemade tamales. Maybe you have a special tradition at your home. Write to Santa and let him know, will you? And so here they are. Santa is journeying around the world with his elves helping him. And he flies down into the neighborhood where all these children are and leaves a gift for each child. And on each gift there's a special note just from Santa. He wrote to Maggie and Eddie and Sarah Lynn, and he included that special note. And the note said, "Children, you have made Santa very happy by being a helper. You are hereby given the honorary elf helper hat." And Santa left a hat with each gift. And the children put their hats on and wore them all day long during Christmas time, knowing that what Santa wants most is for adults and children to be his helpers. Santa can't make Christmas happy without having helpers. A lot of times he has parents that are helpers. Moms, dads, aunts and uncles and others. But if you're a child, you can be a helper too. Maybe you can find some way this week until we gather again next week. Maybe you can find a way for you to be one of Santa's helpers. Just like in the story, Santa's helpers. There are so many people that need some kind of little bit of help. Maybe you can find some way. I think about a few weeks ago, Mrs. Claus took a photo of one of the elves who drew with big chunks of chalk wonderful words of encouragement to Santa to keep on going around the world to visit with children. Maybe you can find a way to be one of Santa's special helpers. Well, that concludes our visit for the day. It seems to go so very, very fast for Santa. I hope you enjoyed our visit, how busy our week was, the sleigh being in the shop getting fixed, what Santa eats before he goes on his Christmassy journey around the world, how Santa stays warm inside his sleigh. We mentioned birthdays for children who had written to Santa. We talked about Hector and Maria, two young children who wanted something for the other. They were Santa's helpers, weren't they? Indeed, they were. And so we just finished our story, and Santa is encouraging you to find a way to be one of Santa's helpers in this coming week. And then write to Santa and tell him how you were a special helper. Do you remember this? And so as I leave you for this week, Santa loves you. Be kind and helpful. And this week especially, be a Santa's helper. Farewell until we meet again next week. I'll see you next week, but also I'll see you in about 30 days when it's Christmas Eve. Bye-bye now. Hello, Kelsey. It's good to hear from you. And hello, Kayla. Wishing you a good weekend as well.